I would like to welcome Nelson Kwan, Center Manager of Nee Soon East Center, and to address the challenge on how might we better predict and prevent falls of seniors in senior care centers. Nelson, take it away.
Hi, I'm Nelson. First of all, I just want to thank Ting Ping for this opportunity to present a short presentation concerning fall prevention. So I'll begin my sharing with concerning this fall prevention. Then we'll follow by a Q&A session. Can I have the next slide, please? Thanks. So briefly, just want to share that the scenario that we are in. We operate a daycare center that provides services for care of elders in a homely environment in a communal settings. Typically, which is like daycare centers which are near their place where they come on a weekly basis and then spend their day here with us at the center, and we engage them in meaningful activities. So the aim for daycare centers is to provide support for elders who are typically frail, physically disabled, or cognitive impaired to age gracefully in place. By cognitive impaired, what I mean is typically they have dementia as one of the as a condition that's due to old age. They have dementia. Yeah, can I have the next slide, please? So at the center, I was mentioning the elders are actually actively engaged so as to use their remaining abilities for daily living, like for example, walking, toileting, even to the extent of using, participating in household chores, or even some other more complex activities. So the aim is to maintain a vibrant lifestyle with the intention of helping them to retain as much as possible of what they can do. Instead of limiting them, we are trying to promote them, the elders, to be able to function as much as possible. So with this in mind, right, they are actually participating in their day-to-day, their stay at the center. That means they are pretty much functioning like the normal activities that they might be doing at home as well. So fall is also, as a result, fall is part of the risk in the center-based environment. Yeah. So, well, we accept that fall can be part of the risk. However, one of the main concerns is that falls are often unpredictable, and it's always only when we saw the elders fall, then it's always an after effect. Yeah. Next slide, please. So the challenge that I pose to you all is that to find a ability to identify and alert potential falls before they occur, so as to mitigate and prevent falls. So the keyword is actually before. Yeah, next. So why is it a very important challenge? Is because as we all know, elders cannot afford to fall. So when falls happen, they have serious health implications to potentially affect their life in a very detrimental way. Their quality of life will go down, and the various issues will start to occur. Care needs will rise, and it's a host of all the problems will have a chain effect, one after another. So elders cannot really afford to fall due to their frail physical status. So by solving this problem, right, we are hoping that a solution can be promulgated not at just the daycare center itself, but across the sector to the healthcare sector as well, for better care of the elders. Thank you, CP. So you might be wondering, how are we actually doing our part to prevent falls? So what we are doing at the daycare center is that, first of all, the daycare center is already have a very safe environment, meaning well lit out, minimum wheelchair-friendly access with all the grab bars in place. The floors are anti-slip, and various other designs which are incorporated into the facility, such as a ramp access for wheelchair and curb-free access for the elders. And that's for the environmental part. With regards to the fall risk, how do we do fall risk assessment? We actually do regular assessment, fall risk assessments for the elders. Meaning to say that we assess them, we run through a series of checks with them, help them to identify the current situation that they are in, their fall history, their medication, etc., so as to assess whether or not these elders are fall risk, a high fall risk, so to say. So these are done on a regular basis and also ad hoc basis as and when needed. When we detect that this elder or that elder seems to be quite frail after a short illness or that kind of situation. So in terms of the staff, right, we are trained, we're well trained to provide appropriate assistance to high fall risk elders. So first of all, the elders will be assessed and identified, and they will be put on priority assistance from our staff. Yeah. Next slide, please. So hoping to see that there might be potential solutions that we can tap on the technology to predict and preempt potential falls through real-time monitoring. So such a technologically enabled solution hopefully can be deployed at the center to provide a so-called some sort of early warning to the staff so that we can be on hand to render assistance before falls occur. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Nelson. I think for all attendees, feel free to put in your questions in the Q&A panel. But while we wait for questions, I think I have a few kind of queries on my own.
Sure.
I think, our first question is on what forms of data do you currently collect from the seniors? Like, do you have a monthly health check on their BMI that allows people to kind of capture that data across time of the seniors?
Yeah, we do regular assessments, monthly or we take the assessments based on monthly or quarterly or even a half-yearly basis. So things that we are looking out for, they are cognitive assessment. Cognitive meaning to say how is their mental capacity. So in terms of their how cognitively they are functioning. So this has an important this is one of the important factors, because very often we find that dementia elders or elders who have low cognitive ability might not be able to discern dangers or environment in a way that non-dementia elders can do so. So one of the ways that we observe very closely are their dementia status, which very much closely linked to their ability to comprehend the surroundings and the environment. So other than that, another observation that we do regularly is their health. First of all, if the elders are being identified as a high fall risk, we will regularly do assessments to make sure that they do not decondition, and if need be, we'll actually introduce more measures like physiotherapy sessions and etc., strengthening, etc., weight bearing, etc., to help them to gain their or at least retain their mobility and reduce fall risk. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Nelson. I think we're getting a bunch of questions in. So from Liping, I think she's asking if we can share more about the risk assessment, about what checks do you do?
Okay, for fall risk, right, we are concerned with, first of all, the history of falls. Yeah, risk assessment as part of the regular checks, right, we will actually be concerned with the risk of falls. So that gives us a rough idea of whether or not this elder has a history of falls. So it's a bit investigative in nature. So we find out what's the condition of fall, what causes the fall, etc. So we also ask questions like medication, etc. What medications are they on? Especially some medications such as antidepressant medications, which are quite common for elders, is known to have cause side effects such as giddiness, which would contribute to falls. Yeah. So we also will monitor their health closely. So as and when the elders who are hospitalized and they were discharged, we will need to have a proper assessment by the medical practitioners, such as the doctors, OT, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, etc. So as to gauge how well the elders are doing in terms of their ambulation, or another term is walking. Yep.
Okay, so this is done by the healthcare side. Lai Peng has a follow-up question about other factors like balance.
Yep, that's right. That's right. So we also ask other questions like, do they have difficulty walking? Are they furniture cruiser walkers? Meaning to say, do they need support when on the furniture when they walk around? So even to the extent of are they worried about falling? All these things can play a part in helping to identify a high fall risk elder.
Okay. Next question is from Tiong Keng. I think the question is on, are wearables appropriate for seniors, or what has your experience been with seniors and wearables?
Wearables. Can you elaborate on the wearables? Like,
I assume it's something like a Fitbit wristband, or like some sensor to be placed on their body, like a watch, a Fitbit watch.
Well, if I understand correctly, it's some detective sensors. Am I right to say that?
Yep, I think it's to measure something like their gait. I mean, if Tiong Keng wants to add on to the question, yeah, feel free to put in the Q&A panel.
Currently, we do not actually introduce such a device or a detective sensors to the elders. Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah. I think from previous kind of conversations, I think seniors also experience kind of not liking additional things on their body, right? And they will usually kind of take them off or misplace them.
Well, I think things get complicated when we are dealing with dementia elders. So that has potential to really cause them a lot of anxiety, or even like resistance. Like they are when they are being asked to don such things. But I mean, face mask is already an issue. So let alone things as such. Yeah, there could be a potential concern, because dementia actually complicates matters. Yeah.
I think to add on to Nelson, sorry, Joshua here from St. Luke's Elder as well. It's just to ensure that any wearables that we are, or if a solution is going to be a wearable, it's going to be non-invasive in nature. Of course, we also take into account that some wearables are quite easily taken off. So that has to be considered. It's to find a balance between wearing something that is not so easily taken off and at the same time non-invasive. So at the end of the day, I think our elders have the autonomy and choice to wear it or not. So we will still have to align back to that also.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
What Joshua put in a very good way, that we are the welfare of our elders, their comfort, their emotional well-being is our top priority, and we operate on this principle. Yeah.
Okay. I think a question from Fandi is on what are, from your experience, the major causes of falling? Is it slippage, slippery surfaces, fatigue, or are there any other major causes?
I would like to say falls are predictable, but unfortunately, sometimes from my personal experience, I did see an elder who is walking in front of me perfectly fine, and she just fell down. But thankfully, she's not badly hurt. So things that, it's like we humans, we tend, I myself fall. So of course, if I know that I am not feeling well, I'm sick, I'm feeling giddy, I will take a seat and maybe rest. But unfortunately, sometimes elders, they tend to have their perception. They might think that it's fine to walk around even if they are not feeling well. So it's very complicated in the sense that it's basically their choice. Yeah, of course, when we saw elders who are high fall risk, they are not feeling well, we will advise them accordingly, and that's the part that we can manage. But unfortunately, they are like humans being human. They will have there will be situations whereby they will tend to fall in a very unexpected way,
I think to add to that also, to Nelson's point about predictability, I think when we're dealing with falls, it's actually a very high element of unpredictability. So we can give a few scenarios. For example, a senior completely healthy, his or her physical health deteriorates, and there's no clear signs for our care staff members on the ground to note this. Alternatively, it could be a senior who's not having great physical health, attempting to stand or walk without like a center staff attending to him or her in time. This leads to a fall happening because of a lack of strength in that momentary time. Or it could be an ambulance senior moving independently, tripping or suddenly losing mobility. So I think that the key behind this is that we may not wish to define a target lead time or a preemptive lead time. What we want is a real-time and continuous monitoring that enables us to then see a trending. And with that trending, then it gives that sort of data for operational folks on the ground to then take a preemptive step to say, okay, this elder A or this elder B's health is deteriorating. We need to take more care and caution with him or her. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. I feel that there's two questions on CCTV coverage at the homes. And yeah, just inquiring if there's any existing CCTVs in your premises.
Yeah, there are CCTVs deployed to cover the centers. Yeah, and to look out for elders who might be in the, out of the line of sight of our staff. There are cameras in place.
Any privacy concerns? For this data to be used for, like, let's say a visual analytics AI on that.
Of course, we have to operate by the PDPA principles, personal data protection, whereby the data will be the elders, the video will not be made known to external sources. So I think the technicalities we have to work out, because I understand these days a lot of things are on crowd. So we have to overcome those aspects. But suffice to say, the elders, in terms of they should not be identifiable.
Or should I say perhaps the solution has to identify the right elder with the deteriorating symptoms resulting in falls that are predicted in the future. However, perhaps in terms of protection of privacy for elders, the solution could integrate some form of mosaic covering so the face doesn't need to be viewed. Ultimately, there's inevitability when you're talking about capturing data because you are still personalizing the data to an individual elder, i.e. your videos, your health indicators, your BMI, your blood pressure. So these things could be predictive factors or metadata that results in that. But of course, the privacy part is to protect the individual elder so that the identification or the purpose of the usage of the data is only to predict the falls and not to be used for any other purposes.
Any tech that has been explored regarding this issue? Have you guys experienced any of?
In the past, we have worked with solution providers that looked at creating alerts during the detection of falls. So like I think Nelson also mentioned before, we're looking at before. So it's very preventive, predictive instead of after, where it's very detection based. So we're trying to move beyond that and look at, wearing the lens of prevention and prediction.
Understand. I think one final question from Manik on seniors with mobile phones. Does every senior have a mobile phone at your center or at home? What's the usage like?
Actually, not really. In fact, experience is most of them don't. Yeah.
Okay, understand. Yes, I think final call for any additional questions. If not, Nelson, on your end, any final pitch to our potential solution providers in this session today? What is the ideal solution that you are aiming for?
Well, I guess, maybe I just want to emphasize that falls can really be, I'm really hoping that in the current advancement in technology, then something that can be tapped on to harness the technology. And once a solution can be provided, it would really do a great. It's really good to be able to have a functioning solution so that the falls can be prevented, which means their quality of life and their health are all on a much better. Yeah, because the difference between fall and is really a lot. So it's something that can be done. I think more can be done in this regard using technology.
Okay, thank you, Nelson. We are looking for a very meaningful solution that will have very long-lasting impacts for the seniors in these centers. So thank you very much, Nelson.
Thank you.